Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of my video series of basic makeup tips. Let's just jump into it. So I'm going to be taking the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot on my finger. This is going to prime our eyelids for eyeshadow, which is extremely important because we want our eyeshadow to show up and be pigmented and last all day. So we're gonna do this. Cool. Now that that's done, a very common mistake that people tend to make is leaving your thick consistency primer just like this and not setting it. You need to set it, because if you don't, your eyeshadows are gonna stick to one spot, look dark over here, look light over here. It's gonna be a mess. So just take a skin toned eyeshadow, and I'm going to take a giant brush. You don't have to, you can just use a regular brush, and I'm just going to set that. I don't know, just covers more surface area, okay? Excellent. Okay, brushes. There's a bunch of different kinds here. You probably won't need all of them, just some on certain occasions. Different ones do different things. We'll get into that on a later date. I'm going to start off with this really fluffy brush. I'm going to take a transition color. A transition color is going to be an eyeshadow that is either warm toned, is typically warm toned but can be cool toned depending on what look you're going for. It's usually going to go, my nostrils are flaring when I talk. They typically go in the crease area right here, and this is going to help the either light colors go to dark or the dark colors go to light, depending on if you're gonna do a like smoky eye look or you're gonna go for just a light to dark transition smoky look. It just depends. Start with that. It's gonna help the transition of blending. Transition, get it? So I'm taking the color right here, Burnt Orange, from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. It's warm toned, which is what I want. You always want to tap off the excess, because if you go straight in with so much pigment, it's just gonna be deposited wherever. Like, let's say I place my brush right here, it's gonna be super dark right here, and everywhere else I blend out, it's just gonna be very heavy. So remember, you can start off with a little bit and build up to it, but it's kind of hard to take it and start. I'm gonna start right here in my crease and working in small circular motions, and I'm starting to blend that into my inner corner. And then I'm going to start to blend it upward just to diffuse it. I'll show you going from a natural looking eye look to a pretty much full-on smoky look. I'm going to take this color right here called Real Guard. I'm just going to lightly sketch it. Now notice how the placement of my brush, I'm not holding it down like this anymore. I'm holding it at a downward angle. It's gonna help to keep any of the color off of my eyelid. So I'm just gonna start to make a generally circular shape. So I like the placement of that, and then I'm just gonna start to lightly pull that color up to my crease like this. It's okay if a little bit gets on your lid. I want it to be kind of smoky, so I mean, it'll just kind of help. But I drag that color up a little bit. I'm gonna take my blending brush again. You wanna always keep a blending brush handy, because you're gonna constantly be blending out colors, because if I just left it like this, it looks a little crazy. And the transition color and this color go together very well. Gradient from this dark color to a lighter color to skin. And that's why transition colors are important. Again, at any stage you can easily just stop and continue with liner, lashes, all that. Since my lid is pretty clear, you could put on a nude eyeshadow, just kind of clean up the line, and you have a pretty simple cut crease there. You could also put glitter there, but again, I'm going to keep going with a smoky look. Okay, and to make it a little bit darker, I'm going to take the colors Venetian Red and Red Ochre and mix them together. They're really pigmented, so I just take a little bit of each and then tap off the excess and dip back and forth. Now this brush is going to be a little bit flatter, a little bit thinner, but still pretty fluffy, so it's good for blending. So again, instead of placing it down like this where the product is down, I'm actually gonna have the product facing up and tilt it at an angle. I still get that color that I want in the placement that I want it, but it's still not on my lid because we want to keep the lid nice and clear of any product right now. And I'm not going to take it all the way over here like I did with that orange color. I'm just going to keep it pretty much on the outer end and maybe halfway through my crease. So now that I have that color down, since this brush is a little bit fluffier, I'm kind of using small circular motions and dragging it upward into that orange shade very lightly. That way it kind of diffuses it. I'm just going to blend out the edges. I'm not really going to touch the center where the crease is right here. I'm just going to go on the outer edges because I want to keep that pigmentation in my crease. It's easier just to start with the lighter color first and then kind of transition to the dark. But it's kind of cool to see that each stage you can have a natural look to a little bit darker and then eventually a nice smoky look. Another tip is if you feel like you've brought the color up too high, which I don't, but if you think that you've brought the color up too high, you can just take, I'm going to use that setting brush because it's kind of big and fluffy, but it's small enough where it can fit in my crease. And you can just take like this color right here called Tempera. And it has like a little bit of a shimmer to it as well, so it'll have like a nice highlight. And you can just pop this underneath your brow bone. I pretty much like the color that I have on my crease right now, so I'm going to move on. I don't really want to make it any darker, so I'm just going to move on to my lid. Next I'm going to be using this color, this like gold shimmery shade called Prima Donna. I really want this to be pigmented and bright, and since it's a shimmery shade, I'm going to take it on a short, stiff shader brush. And I'm going to just spray it a little bit with my setting spray. And this is going to help the color to come off more metallic and pigmented. I'm going to pack it on there. And then I'm going to start over here and just kind of pat it in. So I'm not making a full cut crease. I am right here, but over on this side I'm just kind of patting it in. Shush phone. I'm going to take my blending brush and kind of just blend these two together to kind of have a nice gradient and not a harsh line. I know a lot of people struggle with doing a smoky under eye, so we're going to go over that too. I'm going to take a mixture of Real Gar and Red Ochre on this kind of damp brush again. And I'm going to angle it upwards like this. And I'm just going to lightly brush it as close to my lash line as possible. Then I'm just going to take a fluffy shader brush again and kind of brush that out. And then I'm going to take my really fluffy blending brush again, and I'm just going to kind of blend everything together. If you wanted to intensify even more, you can take a flat top shader brush and go in with a mixture of Red Ochre right here and Cypress Umber, which is this darker brown color. And you can get it pretty much as close to the lash line as possible. And just wiggle your brush back and forth between your lashes. Those colors together. And my eye's a little irritated because I stabbed it. Also, if you feel like you brought it down too low, just take your sponge and kind of blot it. And that kind of help get rid of any excess that you got lower than you wanted. And then just put on some liner and lashes or mascara, whatever you prefer, and you're good to go. This is the finished eye look. And that is it, you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already. It really helps me out. And if you guys want to see the lip portion of this, it will be getting uploaded here very soon on how to apply lipstick. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye!